Hey, what's up? Welcome back to DDRP. So the next step that I'm working on right now is prepping the Slant 6 225 engine to go back into the car. And to do that, one thing I'm gonna need is a carburetor. The previous owner had a bunch of different parts that came with the car, including 2 single barrel Holey Carbs. Now I know what you're thinking, probably for those who are Mopar enthusiasts, it's a terrible carburetor, and I should definitely go with something else. But you know what? I have 2 of them here, and the previous owner had already purchased a rebuild kit, so I'm gonna take my hand at rebuilding one of these carburetors and see how we do. If not, then I mean, there's no love lost there. I mean, I can always buy a new one. So anyway, I'll show you a little bit of what I'm going to be doing now. So here's my manual. This is the Dodge Dart Convertible 66 service manual. In here it has a specific page on the Holey Carb model 1920. And I'm basically going to be following these instructions to disassemble the carburetor. And here's the carburetor repair kit that the previous owner had already purchased. And then here's the 2 carburetors that I have right here. This one here seems most like the original that came on the car. The throttle lever here is a little bit different than the throttle lever on this one. So part of what I'm trying to do is just understand what the differences are between these 2 carbs. And then decide which one I want to rebuild. So far, I'm leaning towards this one. One thing that is kind of turning me off a little bit is that this actuator right here is kind of stiff, whereas the one over here is really smooth. If I can get it to go here. Nice and smooth. And there's a couple other little differences here, like, for example, this is like the crankcase venting tube, and this is the distributor vacuum tube for advanced tube filtering. They're both on the same side here. On this carb, you've got them on opposite sides. So again, it's just kind of me trying to figure out which one of these I need to rebuild and then doing the work. So this is what came in the rebuild kit right here. So first of all, this is just a float seating gauge. So on the inside of the Holey, there's a float, and this is just supposed to help it get positioned in the right place. And this is just a measuring stick to show you the difference between 5/16 and 11/32. But then you've got some different spacers for where the carburetor marries up to the intake manifold. This is a gasket for the fuel bowl, and some other gaskets right here. This is the economizer, so that goes right on this piece right here. And you've got the fuel inlet stems, various gaskets, and pieces right there, and then some diaphragms right there. So that's the rebuild kit. But for right now, I've talked to my uncle, and he says that this is the one that I should rebuild. So here we go. Remove vacuum hose between throttle body fitting and vacuum diaphragm. So I guess that's this vacuum tube here. And then remove E-clip from choke operating link. From diaphragm, plunger, and choke lever. This right here is the choke operating link. And this is the diaphragm plunger, the stem. It also says to remove choke diaphragm and bracket. So I'm hoping that by doing that now, yep. So no need to disengage that link, it just kind of comes with it. Cool. So set this to the side. And now using 5/8 wrench, remove fuel inlet, needle, valve, and seat. Alright, so there's the needle, valve, and seat. Says remove economizer retaining screws, and then lift economizer cover, diaphragm, and stem out of carburetor as shown in figure 4. So economizer. Look at that. This little guy came off here. Set him to the side. So this is the economizer here. Alright. So there's the economizer. Remove fuel bowl. All right. And I'm reading in the book here, it says to only clean with denatured alcohol. It's not the same thing as isopropyl alcohol. So Home Depot, I think, has denatured alcohol. Otherwise, you can order it online. Found some on Amazon as well. I think I saw, depending on the brand, there was like a gallon for around $30 or so. I don't know that I'll need a gallon for this project. But pull those out for now. Oh, here it comes. Okay. And it looks like, I'm not sure exactly what was in here. It looks like a plant of some kind. Interesting. Okay, and look at this gasket here. Yeah, it's just crumbling to the touch here. So there's that. And the bowl's not terrible. I mean, it's got some stuff that needs to be cleaned out there, but it's not terrible. It also says you do not want to take any abrasive material to the inside of the carb and stuff like that. So we'll soak it and in the alcohol and then get like a light bristle toothbrush or something like that for cleaning that up. Okay, progress. This plate also came out. I think that's used. Goes behind. Didn't really see how this went in, so I'm gonna have to figure out how that went in. I think my guess is it went behind this the float here. I'm not entirely certain, so I'll have to figure that out. And the 4 screws that go with the bowl. Okay. Slide the baffle out. Oh, okay, that's what this is. That's the baffle. Okay. I guess if it sits in here, maybe something like that. Maybe like that. I'll hold this up again. Yeah, something like that. Probably like that. Yeah. Baffle. Okay. Discard gasket, which is what this is right here. While I'm here, I can clean that piece out. Okay. Using a suitable tool, remove the float retaining clip, then slide the float off the fulcrum pin. Okay, so it looks like right here, there's a retaining clip, so it says to remove that. I think what I'm going to do is grab a little tiny watch screwdriver. Let's see if I can't just pry it off. Yep. That did the trick. And then remove the float. This float actually looks in pretty decent condition here. Sometimes those go bad, you gotta replace those too. And there's the inside of the carburetor. Doesn't look terrible in there at all. Okay. Remove screws that attach the economizer body and plugs. Then remove economizer body as shown in figure 6. Alright, so this is the economizer body. So I've got in here, looks like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws to remove. No, I've never rebuilt a carburetor before. I don't even think I've driven a car with a carburetor, to be honest with you. But I've got my manual here, and we're going to give it a try. Why not? If this doesn't work, I'm not out any money. This is all parts that came with the car when I bought it from the previous owner. And if it doesn't work, then I can invest in a better carburetor like a Carter, which seems to be a little more popular than these Holeys. Okay, well, look at that. Okay, so far so good. So I guess that's the economizer. tilt the pump lever on its pivot until a hook on the pump diaphragm stem can be released. It almost seems like before I can take that diaphragm out, it seems like I need to remove a couple of things here. Now it doesn't say to do this in the manual, but I'm going to do it anyway. There's a little clip right there. So just did that to release this piece right here. Now there's another retainer clip there that I'm going to pop off. Okay, so it says to remove the diaphragm there. Okay, another retainer clip. So now okay, let's see if I can coerce this diaphragm to come loose. It seems to be on there pretty well. So this is not coming out super easy. I'm having to use like a little screwdriver and these pliers to just kind of yank out the old diaphragm. It's like baked onto the housing here, and I'm gonna have to clean that off somehow too. Trying not to gouge it or anything. I don't want to break it or make it unusable. So it took some coercing, but I was able to get that diaphragm out, and it was basically just glued on there really, really well. So I've got all this black stuff to clean up on there. And now it says to remove the main jet from the economizer. So this is the main jet, and it looks like it has a spot for just a regular flathead screwdriver. Said to remove that pump lever retaining clip. I think that was this guy that I had already removed here. So tap that one down. used to hold the choke valve to the choke shaft. I believe that's on the inside here. That's the choke valve. And there's screws in there. At least according to the manual now, the major disassembly for this carburetor is complete. So next step is to clean it all up with denaturized alcohol. And then it says only use compressed air to blow out all the holes in there. So I'm going to pick some of that up. And after it's all cleaned up and looks like it's going pretty well, then we'll start reassembling.